Brandon Bowlin here with the other Check Your Body Alive and Well. How we doing on a Friday? Your day, my day, high day. It's Friday. Trying to keep this thing going as best we can. Yeah, things are new. Things are new. Forgot my key in the parking lot. I just had to go home and go get my key. I see Olivia E, because the O is her. Anyway, it'll work out. Olivia E, she's here. She's here. A couple other people says Brandon Bollin's here. People are here. Kevin, I got Roddy Mills gonna come on in a hot second. I want to talk to you guys in a quick minute about a bunch of things. I think we want to talk about writing and the process behind the writing, a little bit about what the controversy may entail, and then go into some of the projects going on. We got a bunch of stuff that I did not set up, so because I'm sitting here trying to start the show, and my knucklehead ass, I have it, I got it, but it's not quite set up, the way we want it to be. Anyway, there's a bunch of things I want to put on tonight. First of all, I want to show you. Well, actually, we can go to Rod in a hot second. I just want us to understand this thing that's going on about, how people are trying to jump out in front of cancel culture and all this shit they're talking about and all these things. And I am not a person who is against cancel culture. I think it's a very, if used correctly, it's a very good tool to use, and it should be used as often as possible when you're talking about unreasonable people. Thing is that you need to understand that when you do use it, your voice is going to come up in that as well. You're going to be the person who's going to be looking at a situation where it's your voice and what you say. Earlier this evening, I was on the air, not on the air. I did a podcast with my former acting, writing, and directing friends and an engineer from this radio show I used to do called It's Your World. And one of the cats in there asked me to do an old joke that I used to do on stage. He used to crack him up, and he just wanted to hear the joke done. And I told him I don't really do that anymore. I did it because I'm a ham, and I did it for him. But I'm not going to do it in public. You're not going to see me do that joke on stage. Not because, you're afraid or your voice is. No. Is that, you have to evolve. And I'm not saying evolve like, you get so mature that you don't realize you're a comic and, you're not funny. No, I'm talking about if you got some shit that's edgy and the world shifts and you shift, some of those jokes are going to fall off the edge. Somebody told me today that they were praising a comic because he was the cat that made it easier for comics to say bitch on stage. And they were talking about somebody who's maybe 4 years older than I am. Now, being a comic, you become a history of your craft, and you're like, well, that's absolute bullshit to say that. But why is that something to, in this day and age, why is that something to jump on and say, oh, man, that's a great thing to say? You made a contribution. Why in this day and age? Because there are people who feel like I'm going to say this, the dullards of us are feeling under siege right now because so much shit is going on around them that they feel like, they have to fight back. And what the fuck does that mean? When you look at the incels, when you look at these people who are locked in to their entitlement, and they all jump and race to jump on, other platforms to fight something that is an idea, to fight a philosophy of diversity, to fight a philosophy of trying to understand more, to fight the idea that willful ignorance should be swept away, fucking put in the ash bin of history, and we move forward. And that happens we're talking about knowing our history, understanding real world science, and then putting down this aggressive stance against those who are really just basically trying to make it from day to day. You dig what I'm saying? So whether it's Haitian immigrants or doctors and nurses who are talking about goddamn COVID, who are the people who are trying to help other people, you have these fools going into the hospital and fighting literally to their last breath, physically fighting, because they don't believe that they have COVID. That is willful ignorance to your death. And why not evolve away from that shit? So the joke has to do with this thing. I talked about this on the show before. This joke has to do with thing. I used to do this thing called gibberish, where I would speak these languages, and they weren't languages; they were gibberishes of the language. Now there's an American English version of it, where you probably have heard other people do, but I can do the accent in this language, but I'm not speaking the language. To me, to Brandon Bowlin, there's no need for that anymore. You can do the accent if you're going to do someone who's maybe a Russian, and it's very heavy, and you can do that. I've done that before. You can do the accent, but if you don't speak Russian, either learn the shit because Google's your friend and it can teach you, or stay the fuck away because all you're doing is you're not. It's not funny. You're exhibiting your limitation and your inability to dig a little deeper. You dig what I'm saying? And so I did this voice. The joke is really about familiar relationships. And I said, they like black people. They hire their family. A couple comes in, and the man says, welcome to Falafel's. May I help you? And he says, yeah, I'd like a couple menus, and we like to start with some water. And then he says, water. Okay. Are you sure? Water? And okay. And then what proceeds is, wherever they're from, he proceeds to have an argument with someone who's in his family in the back. So you see me kind of turn. I used to do this where I used to go, I turn and scream at a curtain and then stick my head in the curtain and be the other guy and then come back out. But I was speaking gibberish. He said, I was doing all that. Funny joke, funny sight gag. Back then. Even then, it was on the edge because the joke itself wasn't about them being Middle Eastern or wherever they're from. The joke was about the fact that you can't ask your family to do shit for you. You can't, especially if it's an older brother, he's not going to get the water. But it's not something that, it's a personal choice not to keep it in that lane. And so when people are talking about Dave Chappelle and the situation that's going on with Dave Chappelle, we're making personal choices on what lane. The word that stuck out to me, the phrase that stuck out to me is, and it's very important that I think, for you hear what I have to say about what I'm saying in this moment. When they say it's a lifestyle, gay people apparently have always been with us. Always. I mean, since lithographs, since hieroglyphics, always been here. And to say that they choose to be that any more than you choose the amount of melanin in your skin is bullshit. Now, because of the Judeo-Christian oppression that has gone on for almost 1,000 years in that regard, they have a culture, and in that culture, it has grown. There's grown kind of a surreptitious underground vibe to it, very strong, fighting back. These different things, kind of mirroring black folk. Thing black people have a problem with is that gays are often intertwined on the white side of their movement, and they sometimes, what brothers can see, I'm not saying that it always happens. A lot of black people feel like, it's almost it drains the movement, the energy from the movement for what we have to do. But I always try to say is like, it ain't like they ain't, black gay people who don't bridge that divide. So when you say lifestyle, you're making a choice to keep that kind of shit in the lane. And I have a problem with that because it's not just, you ask these people's parents 9 times out of 10, if they're being honest, the parents will say, we knew Johnny or Sally was gay even before puberty. We knew that shit. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't tripping. They just know it. We knew it. We knew what was going on. The problem with saying lifestyle is saying that they're not pushed into where they are, that they're making choices to live a certain way. So that means the moment you do that, it's so much easier to create a villain. It is so much because you're saying they're making a choice to do this. And if you find what they're doing repugnant, which is your right if you do, if you find, then all of a sudden you're saying, well, they're doing some shit that they don't have to do, which is bullshit. All right, what they're doing with the just standing there and existing ain't got shit to do with any of your business and any of your life beyond the fuck of what you are. You dig what I'm saying? You are a human being. They are a human being, and that should be the basis of it at the very beginning. And so when people start using these certain terms, we have to be very careful about that. Anyway, there are some other things that come up, but I want to talk about like how that affects in the business and why we should be very careful about how, because sometimes, man, shit you put on the internet lasts forever, like tonight. When I put on last night, I'm gonna be right back with our very own partner in crime, a nitizen, our very own Roddy Mill. All the way from I was gonna say New Orleans, but I better be careful because he might owe some bills. I'll be right back. Dig it.
World of illusion.
Man, I was trying to fix this. I misspelled your last name. It's Emmelle, right?
There's one M, just one M.
Oh, I got it right. God damn, man.
Just one M.
I wasn't even smoking any weed either. I got that shit.
The world of illusion. Welcome to the world of illusion.
What's so funny, man, is you saw me sitting here panicking.
Yeah, you did. You were. Shit. He was reaching out to shit. Looking like Black Scotty. Captain. I don't know what that shit is. Captain. Goddamn YouTube. I don't know what's going on.
Man, I fucking ran a test today and everything. I ran a test ride. I ran a test. The shit worked. I said, what the fuck? And it posted up something that was wrong on the click, and I didn't read it. And so I'm like, what the fuck?
It's funny because you were muted, and your face, it was like a goddamn silent picture. You were smiling. I got that. No. Shit. What's wrong here? Goddamn, no sound. Shit.
I'm not gonna say you all the way from Louisiana. I'm gonna say you all the way from Century City. Century City's own.
On the Avenue of America, really, in the middle of the Avenue of America.
Oh, really? Oh no, I'm thinking of Century City, the Avenue of Stars. You ever been there?
Yeah. I mean, Nakatomi Plaza.
You can't. There's no. Okay, so what? So that was supposed to be like their version of what they were gonna build up to be Hollywood, but you can't really get there. And if you're actually walking on the street, like there's nothing around. Like
there's Nakatomi Plaza and the backside of Fox. That's all there is.
The backside of Fox, where those homes are,
and Fox's. What you call it? Fox's. Yeah, the building that they use for Die Hard.
Exactly, and they have the stars on the, but they don't have no names because they're just
no names. It's the Avenue of the Stars. It's plain ass old stars. No names. Nothing.
Oh, that's the funniest shit.
No Mike Lindell. Nothing. Now you can't get shit over there. Nothing. No reality stars. Nothing.
No.
Nobody wants their
Nobody. The neighborhood's a trip, man. That neighborhood, because it's walled off.
Yeah.
Some beautiful homes over there. I don't know if yours is there, but there's some beautiful homes on the other. You can't because they got this wall and shit. But it's so funny. It's just like a world away. Then you take a plane, you look down, it's right there. Like it's.
Oh yeah.
The cul-de-sac
nice.
shit.
Yes, but it's a real Yeah, it's not my town. It's not my section of town. Yeah,
that's not your section of town for real. Dig it. So let's talk about
magic.
The magic of.
Look at that.
This motherfucker's on YouTube now, or TikTok, they show all the shit. They show how they do it. They
Periodically. Doug Henning style.
Remember
Continue.
Doug Henning? God damn.
The
What a
world of
reference.
illusion. The
What a
world of
reference.
illusion.
That
The world of
motherfucker-
illusion.
That motherfucker
Wait,
was so coked up.
he was? Oh man, don't do that. Don't ruin the dream for me, please. Don't
Come
do
on,
that.
man. Suspenders. Rainbow suspenders,
It was
man.
the 70s, bro. Come on, seriously, don't fuck that
Nah,
up.
man. Nanu. That's it. That's the only place that should have.
Come on, man. You know what? Let me live that lie. Shit. Doug Henning on coke. Shit.
Look here, man. Look, we came of age. What was that dude's name? He used to do all this shit. Chris Angel or whatever that motherfucker. And it was a lie, and he had all his people.
You know
help.
what? I'd rather Doug Henning than that motherfucker. Chris Angel. I'm going to hold my breath for 3 years. Come back. The fuck is wrong with you, man?
And that other dude, the one, oh shit, man. He had short hair, and he's from
You
New
talking
York.
about? No, you talking about? Wait, you're not talking about Copperfield making plays?
No, not Copperfield. No, that's he's Copperfield's from the '70s too, but he turned his shit into an industry.
Yeah, he did.
until the masked musician came in and he was giving away all the secrets and shit on
Like,
Fox.
fucking shit. Like, fuck you. Why are you fucking up my shit like this?
I keep thinking they had like a meeting. You know, some motherfuckers. It's time for us to talk
Man.
about this mask.
You laughing, but that movie, The Amazing Burt Silverstone with Steve Carell and Jim Carrey about magicians, that shit made me laugh because they had a little meeting and they have a little magician thing on Arrested Development too. About
okay.
that shit is that's a funny, yeah, that whole world is just funny. Magicians and shit. Yeah. Yeah. That's just
That's just because the motherfucker just kept, he kept showing how the chicks like would get in and contort themselves, and then the sword would go. Then he'd turn it around and show you. The chicks would be like,
just ruin everything. Just ruin the magic for you.
and everybody's. This is like some of these motherfuckers. This is how they eat. Like this
is how I eat. Like you should be able to sue a motherfucker for that shit, man. That's so fucked up.
And it's, the fire's not really close. It looks like it's close, but there's a mirror. Then the motherfucker said, how did they make the airplane disappear in front of a live audience? They had 2 live audiences. And then they moved the camera over. You're going, what the fuck? Yeah, the TV's in on it. The camera's in.
Everybody's in on it. It's just ruined it. And now my career is over. Now what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
What we gonna do now? What we gonna do now, masked magician? I hope Fox paid you enough goddamn money for this.
And all those other magicians are down there now at Jiffy Lube. And everybody at Jiffy Lube's doing the trick. Everybody at Jiffy Lube's going,
Pulling pigeons out their hand and shit. How long that pigeon been in your sleeve, man? About 2 days.
2 days, greasy.
Why you keep putting chicken feed? Why you keep putting bird seed down your goddamn sleeve?
What are you watching right now, man? What are you streaming? What are you streaming right now? As a writer, what are you?
Writer? Lasso.
Ted
Lasso. Lasso. I was watching Lasso before they won Emmys, so I'm glad about that. I said, I'm gonna watch it because I always like Sudeikis.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there's another thing called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh man, are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? Fort knows what we do.
On some episode, I'm on an episode right now where they have an orgy and it's like they're preparing for it. It's the silliest shit ever.
It's motherfucker.
They had an episode. Everybody's a vampire, and there's what is it? The emotional vampire? No.
Oh yes. He's the energy vampire.
Energy vampire. That's like, this is great. Yeah. So yeah, I've been watching that.
Have you gotten to the where he runs into another one?
Huh?
Have you gotten to the episode where the energy vampire runs into another one?
Oh yeah. When you want to see emotional vampire, the office, that's the most hilarious thing. And it's hilarious.
Dude, it's just well written.
He's over there draining people's energy. She comes over. My cat died today. My cat died today. It's just fucking up his game. Fucking him up. I was like, that was brilliant to me. That was
let's see. Let's say Olivia, she came in first. Let's see. Olivia was first. Brandon Bowlin was second. Our very own Clyde came in third. And Noah Truick's here fourth. Noah Truick's here. He says, I was watching at the other address with a greasy bag of some shampipple. Yeah, greasy bag of some shampipple. I'm Black NIGHTUS. He says, I'm back. And it says, this would be good on TV on the drive home. Dig that.
Mm-hmm.
Noel King says the greasy bags. We got our people coming through. We're gonna get a little right. So you're watching Lasso.
Yes.
I think writing should be writing. There are going to be different styles. You're going to come from different point of views. So the culture will make its way in there if it's allowed to have a voice. You know, don't sit there and just hire a black person just because you say, okay, we need to have a quota. Get motherfuckers.
You mean the black? That's something I've gotten used to that now. Everybody says, do it for the culture. Do it for the culture.
Right.
Like, there are a lot of goddamn cultures in this world. Like, please tell me what.
Right, you know, I'm gonna use some words that's gonna sound a little crazy. I was just talking to my boy about Officer the Gentleman, but Geechee as opposed to country, as opposed to the boonies, as opposed, you know, those Geechee's real. Geechee's,
No, I know. Oh,
no,
man.
I know you know, but I'm saying if you write a piece about Geechee, it's gonna be different than me writing because you're gonna come. It's gonna be more detailed. It might be more nuanced. My shit's gonna be from an outside looking in kind of vibe. And so we are not monolith. As long as our voice can get out. But the problem is quite often is like with what's happening with Chappelle. What we can and can't get to, not what we can and can't write, because we can write what the fuck we want to, but what can be seen is quite often shaped by the specifically now the policies today, the politics, the cauldron of today. Now, what is seen? I'm not saying what we write because we can write anything, but getting it out there, and also on these other platforms, we're doing our own thing. But as a writer, negotiating that field, how do you apply the lessons that's going on right now and still get your voice heard? What is it that how do you see doing that?
As far as with the politics now?
Just you see, you're watching, like you watch certain shows, and then you're writing your own stuff, and then you see these politics. Or do you say, okay, that's something to fold into, or because it's going to have an effect on us?
I watch other stuff, but I don't really let it affect my writing. I mean, you see the random Rod shit. That's odd as fuck. So it's like I'm not one of a kind. I'm not Malcolm and Eddie. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking those shows. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? If I had to say anything, I'm gonna write something like Atlanta or Ted Lasso. You know? In that vein of it's, I have to let what I know. I can't let anything else. Because if you go letting other things affect you, you're going to be chasing a rabbit. You're going to be chasing a rabbit that you can't catch. Agents will tell you, this is what everybody wants, an original spec now. Nobody wants to do the old school thing where everybody would write a spec of a popular show. But so much shit out here. There's no, that's the hot show now. At one point, you could literally make a name over this hot friend spec that you wrote. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or wrote this. I remember one person, when I first started writing, the person decided to say, I'm going to write a taxi spec. And this is in the year 2000.
Okay.
But it stood out. You know what I mean? Everybody was trying to make yourself get noticed and stuff like that. But with the politics of today, I just think you gotta have to learn how to write smarter. I think complaining and shit all the time, like, it's like, well, I can't be funny. Well, then fuck, maybe you don't need to be in the game. Right. I can't do this. I can't. Well, maybe it's on you. Well, I can't do this without saying bitch. Well, maybe calling her a bitch. Well, then maybe the problem is you.
Yes. If it's right, I agree with that. What field are you in? Are you in the field of writing and creating worlds and making things happen? And
I hear Joe Rogan likes to say that, but Joe Rogan, he's Tony Danza 21st century. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a new the big lug and shit. Like, Joe, you live off energy drinks and fucking MMA. You know what I mean? Well, I can't change my comedy. And he's great friends with Chappelle, to be exact.
Right.
As I realize,
Yeah.
But the comedy, I just think you learn how to get you can still do edgy stuff, but it has to be, you have to make it where you're showing how stupid it is. How you know what I mean? I shouldn't say in general. You know what I mean? You're showing whatever you're talking about. You're showing where if you're talking about the LGBT community, you need to be showing how absurd it is that people are dealing. You know what I mean? How people look at it. You know, and at least that's my opinion. You know, and the whole thing.
Well, as a comic, the one thing that you will learn is that everyone's opinion is put. You know, how they put it together is unique to them.
Yes.
And how the jokes come out quite often aren't. So the idea that I would say is when you make the approach is however it is you do, you know, do you.
Yeah.
But if you is talking about, you know, take responsibility and if you say I don't give a fuck and you say all this shit, then when whatever happens and rains down on you, don't be whining and crying and then trying to gather you know? All of the people. I'm not saying Dave is doing this at all. I'm not saying anybody's doing this. I'm just saying what happens is when you get caught up in this stuff, and people say, man, I say anything I want to. Okay.
I'm saying what the fuck I want to. All right.
All right. You know, that's not it. There's nothing.
You have a First Amendment right. That's like the people say, I don't want to wear a goddamn mask. That's fine, but you ain't coming in here.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Hey, if more hospitals said that. So I find that the diversity of ideas sometimes gets lost between the showrunners and the writers, and then sometimes the writers become the showrunners, and that kind of, or at least the top executives. This what people need to really understand, especially with a lot of these shows, is that Netflix is the showrunner. They're the studio. They don't need their model is not built like hiding the money and the way the studios have worked for the last 100 years. This ain't their model at all. Their shit is direct.
They're gonna start hiding the money. With IATSE going strike, they're gonna start hiding the money. They're gonna start hiding them books because man, they're paying a lot of money above the line and below the line.
You were moving 2 steps ahead of the goddamn conversation.
Sorry about that.
You probably ready. You talking about money. You ready to go write some shit? No, but what I was trying to get at is that because, and of course the question for you, how do you approach this? The model's much different than what you came up with. You came up in TV, sitcom TV. The model's different. It is different for me in front of the camera. If I have
streaming is no more. Streaming is not an experiment anymore. You can't say shit is an experiment when you pass 3 billboards streaming La Cienega in Venice. Amazon got 4 billboards that they fucking own right now, and every time they got something new, like right now they're promoting.
Okay, so before you move on, for those who aren't in LA. Strategic billboarding in LA along certain streets or rivers of eyes, that if you're up on those, if you own those, if you have advertisement up on those for a certain amount of time, is considered owning, and that means that you're balling. Like if you put that shit up, that means because it's there. So when you make those turns at specific places, you see them. It means that there's no other people. I mean. There's only really Fortune 500 companies that are able to, and every now and then you have the oddball and shit. But that's so. Anyway, that's what you.
I don't know where else they have any, but I know at La Cienega in Venice, if you going south of La Cienega, they have 4 big ass billboards, and whatever they promoting. I remember when Coming to America was up, they had 4 boards. Now they promoting. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the TV series. You're talking about shit with the comedy. It has to go with your style too. Yep. You take risks too. The big thing I tell people, like I'm a fan of Chappelle's, but Chappelle's procedure is a lot about telling a story and it pays off at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Richard Pryor would be telling a story, but he's joking. You know what I mean? Through the whole time. Right. I know a lot of people would say, after Killing Me Softly, one of his first Showtime specials, they were saying, Dave is the best ever. I was like, you still hanging on that show right? You hanging on that show right now. With time, he's become a hell of a talent. But, I just think some people see things different. It's about how you go. Everybody's approach is different. You know what I mean? I've never been a fan, and I'm not talking about Dave, but like, hell, you on Def Jam. Everybody doesn't do it. But there are some attacks. Because of the aggressiveness of the crowd, it becomes about attacking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It becomes about attacking. You know,
in those in that tradition, the tradition of it necessarily, it wasn't the boo shit. It wasn't in the tradition of booing at the Apollo, but it was in the tradition of understanding where you were in Def Jam. The actual audience became part of the show, as well as is not as heavy as the Apollo because the boos and all that shit.
Yeah.
The way people got up, but that's even in comic view. The way they portrayed, I remember one time, and I'm not gonna say which comic it was, but one of the comics became a producer, right? And he was a writer on the show. They have writers that do buttons and ins and outs and intros and stuff. They write for the hosts and stuff. And so this cat had become, and they had knit together all these sets that didn't do, all these comics that bombed, and they knit together their sets and jokes. So not just whole sets, but just jokes that didn't work or whatever. And then they showed it. And when they didn't get a laugh, they put up the Tweety birds or the crickets, you know. And for comics to do that, it's not only shitty, but it's like we just said about the magicians. This is how people got to live. Yeah. And you're putting up a bomb set, you know. You're putting up. It doesn't make the show. It never made the show any better. You know, so the understanding of what people, you know, in the business, and this is what I'm trying to get at too with the cancel thing, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So things will get bland if you don't pay attention, or they get more interesting. Like I said, I can't do gibberish anymore. It's
you just, I mean, at one point in time, I mean, Jerry Lewis did that, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. It was a hilarious thing. But after a while, it's like, okay, the person sitting in the audience next to me is from the country that you fucking,
that you said they're doing this bullshit. Right.
This shit is not fun. Here's the thing.
Now I have to say, I never took the position of making people, whoever they were, whatever accent I was feigning. Yeah. I never made them the butt of the joke. But the point is that if you're speaking their language, I can still do the accents, but you know, if you're trying to if you're doing this bullshit language, you know, there's no other way, because you're making fun of some language that you don't know. But that's your problem, because like I said, Google's your friend. That's your problem that you don't fucking know what the language. But anyway, I just want us to move on right quick and talk about what you just said about the strike. So, what do you think is happening here? You talked about the money, explain that. What does that mean? The money that's over.
I heard that. Well, and you know what? Let me apologize to Brandon Bowlin. I remember we had a Zoom meeting, and I was like, I didn't know. Brandon, and I understand. I am so on board. It's not even my union. I want to apologize. I so did not know. I was like, I found out that these streaming services, they're paying discounted rates to everybody.
Yes.
And within this, they're saying shit like, it's an experiment. They're saying it's off of a 2009 blueprint, model, business model.
They're doing the same thing that the labels did with CDs.
Yeah, like, well, we not sure if they're gonna work. Really?
From 85 to 2000, they said that it was new media. From 85 to 2000, and then the studios took over Blu-ray, and they said the same fucking thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is not new media. This is not. It's like, it's not. Right. It's not an experiment anymore. You're driving down the street and you may see at least 5 billboards that stay streaming on whatever streaming service.
Right.
This is real right now. And you're paying half price. I saw a thing online, was talking about this movie called Don't Look Up, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. And they're getting, if I'm correct, if it's true, they're getting $30 million and $25 million respectively. And also in this trailer, I saw Meryl Streep, and I know Meryl Streep ain't stepping nowhere without getting 7 figures. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, it's like, you got all this money and we ain't rolled, you ain't touched the C-stand, you ain't rolled, you ain't turned the camera on, you ain't got a craft service, you ain't put a porta potty out yet, and you have spent $35 million. And I'm sorry, when they have those things about, well, whose movies I can do without? I wouldn't miss Leo. I wouldn't miss it. I like Gilbert Grape, but shit, I won't miss him.
Right. Dig it.
But 30 million for a Netflix movie? This shit ain't going to the theater.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They have the money they have is built in, right? I don't know how much they're making, but
I know they're at it right now. They're on the stock market, and they're at 632 a share right now.
632.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like I said, when they first started, I said they're printing money. And let me tell you something. Last week, I covered 3 projects that were all Netflix. One called Boo Bitch. I know what you got. Look, don't ask me, all right? It's just, I ain't got shit to do with it.
Right.
I know what you did last summer. That's Amazon.
Right.
Me Time, Mark Wahlberg, and Kevin Hart. Oh, yeah. And a Jonah Hill, Kenya Barris written movie that Kenya Barris is directing. That man, and think about it. Kenya Barris and what's the name? Scandal. Shonda Rhimes. Both of them have $100 million deals with Netflix.
Was it 100 million? God damn.
Barris had potentially. I think it's potentially $100 million deal.
Damn.
And if they and Ryan Murphy is one of the first productions that when we out of the lockdown, Ryan Murphy was one of the first productions they did. And Ryan Murphy got I think he has a $300 million deal.
Damn.
With Netflix. And as far as like, look, you paying all this money and you can't pay regular rates to the people who are doing the work, because as somebody told me, my first short film, somebody told me, say, always take care of your crew. Because I don't give a goddamn if you got Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. If you don't light them and you ain't got no sound, you got shit.
Well, this is one of the things that Brandon was talking about is they're actually extending their hours. See, what happens is they got so many projects in there.
I will say, I just heard today that supposedly they're trying, I think they've come to agreement about a 10-hour turnaround.
Okay, because what they were doing, what they were doing with the editors is they would make them work, so they'd only end up getting one day off instead of being off on Friday and coming back on Monday. They'd work them over into Saturday morning. And the problem is that when you have so many projects going, they need to be edited. But there's not a, editing is, especially at the professional level, isn't something where you can just shovel motherfuckers into. Like a lot of people can learn specific crew jobs on a film in about 2 films. I'm not saying that they'll be masters at it, but like you said, C-clamps, moving shit around, you can learn how to do that in about 2 films. Editing takes a long time to do it professionally. You have to know what the fuck you're doing, how you're doing it, and a lot of people edit on this shit at home. I do.
You're telling a story.
Yeah.
Editors, they tell this. They tell a story.
Yep.
The directors in the end give you, no doubt, make sure you get the footage, but sometimes a lot editors, not saying that the directors don't control their vision or have an idea of a vision of what they want to be seen, but sometimes editors got to work magic. Yeah, editors got to work magic, man, and they have good eyes. And you're not getting the eye in 2 projects. You ain't getting that. You ain't.
Not happening.
Like Beyonce, she's acting now, but let's say, it took some time.
Well, no, you gotta respect the craft.
And she's just lucky enough to get paid, to learn.
Just dig that. Noel Truick says. He says, I really want to speak with Rod about writing. Sharon Blinn is here. Kimberly Rose says, hey. Sharon Blinn says, and by punch, in the case, I mean punch line. She's talking about something else. She says, John Moody's here. He says, what up, folks? Sharon Blinn also says that movie has multiple million-dollar folks in it. She says, Leo, Meryl, Kate Blanchett, Jennifer Lawrence, Ariana Grande, Timothy Chalamet.
I wouldn't pay her. I don't get the Timothy kid. Please explain him to me. It's like they really, we want you to be. Please love Timothy. I don't get him.
Jonah Hill and Chris Evans. Damn, I think this is Chris trying to break away from Marvel. This is him just trying to.
Oh, he already did that with Knives Out. Did you see? He did that with Knives Out.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
He also, I mean, he was in what's the name of that one? The one with the train. Snowpiercer. He was in
Woo!
Snowpiercer.
Oh man, Snowpiercer. To this day, that bothers me because he said the one line that fucked me up. He said, "You know, I hate that I know that babies taste good." I was like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" It threw me because it was Captain
you didn't
America.
think it was coming. You think it was coming, and he just said what he said.
I was like,
he just said what he said, and he said how he said it.
he did it, and he delivered that line like somebody who he was disgusted with himself, but you knew he had eaten a baby leg or two. You knew that. You just knew.
He just knew that not all turkey legs are turkey.
Stop that shit.
So you seen what's it called, the Squid Games or Squid? Have you seen that shit yet?
Man, I can't watch that, man. I need happiness in my life. That's why I watch Lasso. If I want to watch some bad shit, I watch Breaking Bad probably again. But I heard about that. Say, you know what? I'm pass.
You're not into fantasy gore. You're not into the fantasy gore.
I can't hold that cognitive dissonance right now. Look, I can't hold that type of cognitive dissonance. I can't. There was
an article that came out. I was supposed to show it on Wednesday. So this lady, TikToker, she actually says that and this happens all the time, that the English translations are fucking up the entire storyline by welding the characters into shapes that they're not supposed to be. Like some woman says, I would do this if I was smarter. But what she really meant in Korean was, I would be able to do this if, she was saying sarcastically, I would be able to do this if I had been, quote unquote, properly educated. But she's basically saying, I'm street smart. That's how I handle business. But and so she says, like, she goes through like 5 different characters. It's like, the English translation is just basically watering down this shit so you don't really understand the depth of the characters. And, I'm kind of, in anime, they've been doing this kind of shit in anime for almost 30 years. So I'm not even tripping off. Man, they had a star chamber where motherfuckers, the aliens' heads were actually shaped like stars, and they would put like gladiators in the ring, but they were gladiators of math problems. And then you'd get extremities cut off with how big you fucked up on the math problem, because they were doing all that shit because their race was dying.
I'd be a fucking stump. I'd be a stump, man.
No. And the dude, he finally started to rebel when they put in a little girl. She's a little genius. But she was scared, and she peed on herself, and she didn't know what she was doing. And he knew they were going to chop her arm off. And that began the whole rebellion to this. And this is an anime show. They've been doing this shit in anime. But for it to take over the world as it has, it is the number one viewed Netflix series, or movie ever. It is the number one in the history of it. And this is after
Squid Games?
Squid Games. This is after we've gone through all of the shit last year. It is the number one. It is the number one ever. And it's badly. This woman says it's horribly. What's her name when they put the names in? So
we like to. I mean, I think we're tempted. It's like, how far can we go? We like to. I mean, we are in idiocracy. Idiocracy took place in the year 3500, but we're here in 2021.
We've arrived.
It is.
We got motherfuckers walking within 4 feet of children and their parents, yelling at them for wearing masks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad my kids are adults, because I would have broken someone's ankle. I would have beat them. I would have skull dragged them for coming at me with my children. Right. I really think that just like, oh my God, I saw that and I said, they going yelling. It's like, kids don't need to see shit like this.
Nope.
And my kids don't need to see me break somebody's ankle, but they would. They would see that. Daddy broke somebody's ankle. Yes, he did. But it's a good reason, baby. It's a good reason.
It's a good reason why. One more thing. Louisiana is going to take up, not Louisiana, I think is it Louisiana or North? I think it's Louisiana is going to remove the mask mandates.
LSU is at the games.
Or the games. At the games. They're going to remove you don't have to go in showing any evidence that you've been vaccinated.
Fuck it. We just fuck it. We on the bottom. We in the bottom 10 of vaccinated states. That's okay.
Right. What harm could it do? What harm
could it do? You know, just because shit is rising.
Yeah.
You know, it's on decline. That's what I heard. I heard on the news.
Yeah.
Fox said it's declining. Well, take that shit off.
Take that shit off. Fuck it. Doesn't matter.
It's all right.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Man, look. Okay, so we covered everything. Want to say, man, really, you've been staying steady on your as best you can, on your workouts, doing your thing. You got your bike fixed.
It was a rough week, but I did 15. I did 15 before I got here.
You did 15 miles today?
I did that. I haven't done anything in 3 days.
How was it with the weather's finally changing? We finally, we had.
Man, let me tell you something.
We had 36 hours of fall.
That's why I was trying to get rest, and I said, I'm going to ride in the evening the other day. And I go out, and the 1 hour that I want to go ride my bike, I was like, what is this? And I'm thinking the bird is pissing on me. It's rain. I don't even know that. I didn't even know. But then when the lightning hit, because I said, I'm going to still go do it. But then when I said, nope, we're taking it home. We can take that home.
Wrap it up.
They delayed the football game, the Rams game of the night for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
I was like, and the lightning reminded me of New Orleans. I was like, oh, wow, you mean this, God? Okay, I'm going back. Okay. I'm sorry for even making you think I was going to try that. I really am.
Dig it.
Yeah, it's,
Well, again, man, I always appreciate your point of view, man. As a writer, I think it's important that you stay writing no matter what. And the fact that you still have a passion. There's a lot of us, that to a certain age, they stop reading, they stop writing, they stop looking. And you're doing all the same.
It's rough. I was back. I'm back today. Yesterday, I ran through like 17 pages on the edit. And that's the first time I've done that in a long time. I mean, I'm always writing, but I've been on the bad block for a long time. And I've been reading this book called The Artist's Way, and it was really helping me just like learn how to just keep it moving, bro. Ooh,
right.
Very happy to be there. So yeah, I dig it.
And then that way you won't feel, a certain way when your homie calls up and say, man, what we ought to do? We ought to do Martin again, man, and bring that back.
I've been told that already. Trust me, it's hard. You bullshitting, but somebody say, yo, I'm talking to somebody about it. Well, give me your number. So yeah. I don't think Martin want to do Martin.
You don't think Martin want to do Martin? Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Rod Emil. Thanks a lot, brother. I really appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Peace.
Take care.
All right.
Great. Hold on. Wow. That's great. I'm going to start at the bottom and then come up, okay? Boy, that's great. I'm coming close and then walk out, okay? And I'm going to do one round, okay? Because this is really a beautiful costume. Look at that. Okay, so can I ask you, did you make this costume yourself?
Yeah.
I can hear you just a little bit, so how long did it take you?
About 2 months.
About 2 months?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to keep repeating because I can't remember. So, are those lines lit up in there, or are they just glow lines up in the face mask?
They're lit up.
They're lit up? So do you have a fan in there?
No, I wish I did.
See, you're about to faint is basically what you're telling us. Yeah, so this is all foam.
And war block.
And what?
War block?
Oh, okay. So you cut out all the pieces yourself and made so the chain mail. You linked it together. You glued it together. You had to put it on a plate of some sort, which is fabric, right?
No.
So you're not. Oh, it's not. So this is. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. How much weight have you lost?
I hope not much.
Right. And you painted it all yourself and everything, huh?
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Watch out behind you. There's people behind you. Excuse. I want to get a close up of the scaling behind. That's beautiful.
detail in the front. What gave you the inspiration besides just the character?
Just to do something different and new.
Is this the first time you've worn it?
No.
Okay, so this is your daily driver now. When you go. Are you gonna make another one?
Probably.
Probably, because it's in your system now, huh? It's all over, huh? Okay. All right, that's really nice. What's your name? Let's give me a name.
Christy.
Christy?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Christy. That's beautiful. Can you put your hand out like that? I just want to see, yeah. Wow, look at the scaling. You gonna take the helmet off? That'd be really dope. Oh, wow. You're pretty damn remarkable. That's really dope. Thank you very much, Christy. Now we get away now. I'll get out of the way, let him take a shot. Thanks a lot.
Are you posting it?
Yeah. Give me your Instagram so I can send it to you.
KH Cosplay.
Say it again.
KH Cosplay.
Thank you.
Here's my.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay. You guys work together. Did you help her with this?
No, she's the inspiration. This too. So it's the Lost in Space from Netflix.
Yeah. That's
So the robot and then-
yeah. Danger.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
said. Besides that, what was her inspiration? Because it's a little different, but she just did some really great work on it.
No, that was just her inspiration from that show. And then she did us and my Will Robinson over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
That's just a remarkable piece. Thanks a lot.
Okay, have a good day.
Yes, 2018 Comic-Con. People trying to do the best they can to move along the best they can. I'm going to be showing more of those. It's going to be kind of a mashup of the NIGHTUS Cafe stuff that I have. I'm going to show you guys. Just things that, that we were doing back in the day. Here's the thing that jumped up while he was talking about. There's an article I want to show you guys. It's cracked, man. It is hilarious, but it's not like it's real, but it's one of the things that happened today too was that Texas, the 5th district in Texas, has stopped the blocking that the U.S. That the feds did of blocking the Texas abortion law. So it's in play now. The law's back in play, and it's not going to be fun, so to speak. We got some problems going on with because what's happening now is that people are trying, especially poor women, are going to have to try to find ways to, if they need abortions, to go get abortions. It's supposed to be at 6 weeks. Most women don't know that they're pregnant even at 6 weeks. And there's all kinds of stuff, stipulations and craziness that they've laid on to this thing that's going to cause so many more problems for everybody. And it's kind of a morass, but it's more in this idea of creating another word is mercenaries. For a $10,000 reward to turn somebody in to see if you can get them prosecuted for an abortion in Texas. They have literally become, Handmaid's Tale down there. These are people who have no business, by the way, telling women what they should and should not do, what they should do with their bodies. But they're the same people that don't want to wear masks for 4 minutes in a store. So, let me see what people are saying right now. Christopher C. Alice is here. Ladies and C. Alex, excuse me, not C. Alice. C. Alex is here. Then he said, I watched the Squid Games pilot. I don't know if I can continue. Maybe the translations are messing it up. Good point. Clyde says, y'all just dropped Snowpiercer? Yes, we did. Sharon Blend says, Squid Games is supposedly like Black Mirror meets Saw movies. She says, they are apparently making statements about how far people will go for money. There's a social commentary going on. Not sure I can get into it, but I might try. Yeah, I'm on the same lane as, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing that they made it, nor is it a bad thing that they actually got it in here. But I don't know if I'm ready for more trauma filming. You dig what I'm saying? I've never been a fan of slasher and gore films, so that's that thing. Like the Saw movies, not my bag. I actually went to the first room where Saw was made, the room where the three people were, the supposedly dead guy and the two other people, and it was filmed. there's a film called Studio 24. Is that what it is? 24A or something. I can't remember the name of it. It's right off the 101 freeway here in California. Excuse me, 110 freeway here in California. And I took a picture. I got a picture of the room. I got a picture of the chair, the actual chair that was used for the other cat when they walked in. But seeing them and watching them, that's not, especially right now. I'd rather just, I agree, escapism is not a bad thing all the time, especially if you're trying to get see parts of it. So I agree with that. Rod leaves, yes. Oh, I remember from the con, that's right. Bowlin says, had to catch up. Thank you for spotlighting the IS plight. To note, fratter days have been an unfortunate commonplace onset in production, yes. Something crazy may go down next week if we don't solve negotiations tomorrow. That's what they said they were doing. I want to show you this. Now, I use Cracked every now and then. BuzzFeed News is actually the real legit, but Cracked actually, it has some moments. And I'm going to show you something. It's troubling. It is not necessarily, I don't know if it's entertainment, but it's certainly troubling. Let me show you this right here. Boom. 14 eyebrow arching. Celebrity relationships, age gaps. And Joel Madden and Hillary Duff, 8 years. Now, you think, 8 years is not that crazy, depending on the years, though, that we're talking about. The age gap doesn't sound so bad until you learn that Duff was only 16, while the good Charlotte Rocker was 24. The pair together did it for 3 years. 16 and 24. That's, wow. Nope. Rick Springfield and Linda Blair, 10 years. Jesse's Girl Singer was 25 years old, and she was 15. Wow. Springfield wrote in his memoir, I am her first lover, and she is an enthusiastic learner. Dane Cook and Kelsey Taylor, 27 years. The two allegedly started dating when she was 18, but Cook has claimed that they were friends for a while before. I don't know if you talked to a teen recently, but if you were a successful 40-something comedian, I wouldn't need to hang out. If I were successful, I wouldn't need to hang out with teens. Don Johnson and Melody Griffith, 8 years. Dig this. The Miami Vice actor was 22 when he met 14-year-old Griffith on the set of the movie The Herod Experiment, starring her mom and Johnson. They moved in together when she was 15 years old. They got married when she was 18. They had one child, Dakota Johnson, of 50 Shades of Grey fame. 14. We forget this shit. Chad Michael Murray and Kenzie Dalton, 24-year-old One Tree Hill star, dated the serial's 17-year-old cheerleader extra and even proposed to her while she was still in high school. 9 years between Steve Tyler and Julia Holcomb. She was 16. He was 25. Dig this. Fan of backstage Aerosmith concert when she met Tyler and started a relationship. Her mother signed over guardianship to Tyler, where he was her legal guardian while they were dating each other. David Bowie and Lori Maddox. Bowie Maddox when she was only 14 years old. In her own words, Maddox says, I had not yet turned 15 and he wanted to take me to his hotel room. She says the two saw each other for the following 10 years. Leonardo DiCaprio and Camilla Morone, 23 years. Leo famously doesn't date women over 25, and Morone is no Morone. Is it Morone? I don't know. It is no exception. When they met, she was 20. 20 years old is not. 14, though. God damn. Jerry Seinfeld. This is different because of the years apart. She was 17, though. He was 38. That's Fergie and Justin, 7 years. 16-year-old. He was 16, and she was 23. Yeah. Elvis Presley, so we know this. She was 14 when they first met. Vilmer from what's her name? That 70s show, and Demi Lovato. Okay, she's 11 years. She was 17. Yeah. Jerry Lee Lewis, we know that one, 13 years old. Just look at that. Look how crazy that looks, man. Jay-Z and Beyonce, 12 years. They claim when she met, she was 18, but other accounts put her at around 16. They didn't start dating until she was 19. Keep in mind, 31-year-old Jay was rap royalty, while Beyonce is still in Destiny's Child. Yeah. I brought that up because there is this thing in talking about, certain instances when we're talking about R. Kelly, where the line of celebrity and celebrity worship gets blurred. Someone is a celebrity, a famous person, legit famous person. I'm not saying legit in their life, but just legitimately famous. And we hand power over to them quite often. And we get lost. And all of a sudden, there's some doubtable debate as to whether or not we should, we should hold them to certain moral standards while we're enjoying their gifts. And I'm not sure that it's settled, but I know that there's a tradition of older cats dating very, very, girls. Grown men dating girls, 13, 14. If you are not, and in some states, you can date if you're only 1.5 to 2 years apart. That is to say, if you're coming up on 2 years and then she gets a certain age. So in certain places, 15-year-old girl and 17-year-old boy, not a problem. When you get down to the 14s and the 13s, what? And they say, oh, it's a different time. Really? Really though? Really? Young bride, like you 25? What? And then what 25-year-old is looking at a 14-year-old? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's in a whole different state of mind. And so when talking about R. Kelly and saying, it was about power with him, just like it is with these guys. So if you go read, what's her name? I want to say her name is Jay. I think it's Jay. It's not Jay. You guys look it up for me because I just forgot. The young woman who married Marvin Gaye. And she wrote in her book that he told her that his competition was all those young football players. And that seems like that's a crazy thing to say. And I'm paraphrasing. But when you realize they had this conversation in the car when he was picking her up from school, she was 17 years old. 17. And Marvin was high on shit almost to the day he died. So there was a spiral that was going on with Marvin. And we don't speak about that. It's taboo to talk about that shit. But if you don't mention these imbalances, these power imbalances, what you end up with is a culture that doesn't want to talk about the shit when an R. Kelly comes up. Not the parents, not the people around the parents, not the other people, now not detractors and other people they're talking, and then people who are defending him. All of a sudden now there's a problem there where people are like, well, what is he, this and that? No, there's no problem there. The dude, he was doing horrific shit. His jailing is warranted. But when people look and say, hey, well, look, we got a tradition of it. Some traditions need to stop. If you catch my drifterini. You know what I'm saying? Let me get this other stuff up here for you because it took me a while. There's a couple COVID situations we're looking at. Like I said before, now what happened? Can I put it up here? You guys going to get mad at me if I put it up here? Where's it at? There we go. All right. Sometimes you click the shit and the shit don't click. So here we are. Bam. Today's another 30-day. So this is where we are. And remember, so maybe Monday we'll be looking at another day of 5 or 7. But we had 30 today, 28 or 30 yesterday. What is this here? Okay, that's different. 31 the day before that. And 35 the day before that, and then 7. So Monday, 7. And then 35 Tuesday. So every other day has been 30. All right. Now, the thing about today is that the new cases are going up. They were, no, they're going down. Where were they before? Oh, okay, they're going down. And the current hospitalizations seem to be steady. They seem to be steady at the same place, but we're losing people at the same rate, right? Here's 750, right? You go back here, 748. I mean, it's incredibly steady. 768. I mean, everything signed gives you the idea that it's dropping, but we're staying steady at losing 30 people a day. And that to me, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but to me, that just that it doesn't square. How can we continue to lose 30 people today? In 10 days, it's 300 people. You know, except for Monday, for 4 days, we've lost 30 people. 120 people are dead for the week over some shit we can stop. Chamberlain says the major MLB playoffs this weekend. I'm guessing next weekend or thereafter we'll see some kind of bump. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be kind of nutty, actually, to be honest with you, and not in a way where we can actually fix the shit. I want to show you something from Eric Feigelding, our very own Eric Feigelding. Put some stuff out. Also, this is insane because this is what we're dealing with. And speaking of Ted Lasso, I want to show you this. Well, I'll show you this at the end. We're almost. What time is it? I'm looking. Okay, I'm gonna show you this at the end. But this is insane. So LA basically has said now to go into to certain places, you got to show. You have to show that you've been vaccinated. So they're doing the card thing. They're doing it, and we all have electronic passports at digital passports. You can get them at California.gov if you've been vaccinated. I'm gonna make sure that mine is. Let's see where I got this here. Yeah, COVID-19 at cal.gov, and you go there and you can, you put in your information and it'll have your information for you, and it'll talk about where you've been. If you got vaccinated and all this other stuff. And it's really dope. But, the governor said that we're going to have this, and the mayor agrees, and we're going to have this very stringent thing, right? And so, I told you about the sheriff of the county. We have one of the most powerful sheriffs in the nation. Not necessarily a particular person, but the position of being a sheriff in L.A., is a very powerful position because the police chief is really the head over incorporated areas. The sheriff is the lead law enforcement over all of LA County, which has 9 million people and thousands of square miles. So watch this.
Are you forcing your officers to get the vaccine? As I said, no, I'm not forcing anyone. The issue has become so politicized. There are entire groups of employees that are willing to be fired and laid off rather than get vaccinated. So I don't want to be in a position to lose 5-10% of my workforce overnight on a vaccine mandate, while at the same time our bare bones with the funding effort. So this is like the worst of two worlds right here. So we have to pick and choose. All right.
So
are you forcing your officers?
The mandate came from the governor, and it's from the people he works for, the county board. And he's saying no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to require them to take the vaccine. Here's the problem with that. Like I said, LA is vast. You can fit some nations. Israel will fit in LA County. These are people who are coming in contact with all kinds of other people in LA. In the county. And if they're not vaccinated, they could start an event, a spreading event, and then leave, and the isolated people that they came in contact with may or may not know for days and be stuck in a situation where they can't get to health care in time. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, there used to be a news media person, a news anchor for ABC out here named Jerry Dunphy. And he used to say from the desert to the sea to all of Southern California, because our county goes from the desert to the ocean, to the beach. Okay? And in that area, the sheriffs are all throughout there. And if they're putting hands on people coming out, you mostly don't call the police or the sheriffs or law enforcement unless there are stressful situations going on. And what happens when officers arrive and they're not vaccinated? And they might be carriers. And of course, there's going to be anti-vaxxers that'll say, well, they could be vaccinated, be carriers anyway. most of the time, if you're vaccinated, most of the time, because the breakthrough cases, although they happen, are still minuscule in compare to the people who actually have vaccinations. And compared to people who have vaccinations getting sick, they're minuscule. Who are unvaccinated getting sick. So you're unvaccinated, you start getting sick 3 days later or 2 days later. You don't know that, but you've come in contact with different people along the way within 2 days' time. Because you're in a job that requires that, not because you're just being an asshole out there partying anything. You're in a job that requires you to get out of the car, talk to people, get in their faces, maybe arrest people, put your hands on somebody, talk to them closely, hug somebody who just died, the relative of somebody just died. I mean, you're in that job. So when I saw that, I was like, man, that ain't cool. Sometimes you got to say that just ain't cool. You can't do nothing else with it. Don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you the truth. Taking you down that road. So anyway, let's talk about this other stuff here that I got here for you. Get to the rest of it. Turn this up a little bit. So this is why. So Eric Feigelding put this thing up, and it's really dope. He says, bathrooms, restaurants, school, classrooms. Eric Feigelding is a epidemiologist and economist. He's been right on damn near everything he's spoken on. I don't care if he was only right 53% of the time. He's probably saved lives by tweeting about it so much. Epidemiologist and health economist, okay? Senior fellow at the blah, 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 blah. Today, bathrooms, restaurants, school, classrooms, offices, not just hospitals and clinics. The virus can linger in the air for hours. Forget outdated 6 feet droplet rule. Forget that shit. Huge super spreading outbreaks from aerosols have been documented. Repeat, COVID is airborne. Pass it on. This is something we've known. This is why the masks are important. They don't stop the size of the virus. Don't get into debates with people saying, well, the virus is something that's only micrometer long, and the face coverings or this, that, and the other. This is why they're telling you to bump it up to N95s as well. But the N95, they're blah, blah, blah. And you say, no, you don't wear the mask to stop the virus. You wear the mask to stop the droplets where the virus resides, where they're aerosol. That's where they reside. And that's why you wear a mask. And make sure when you move your mask, your hands, you have the cleaner so you can wash your hands and whatnot. Okay? And always take your mask off from the ear and all that blah, 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 blah. So he says viruses that you exhale doesn't disappear when someone enters the room. Please keep your mask on even when in the room. This is with healthcare. And then he breaks it down. He says, a single case led to a hospital outbreak, despite the max number of people just being 4. The virus stayed in the air for hours, infecting many more people. And this is from Kinley Prather. She's a PhD. She says, someone just sent me info on outbreak in a hospital break room where 14 out of 15 got infected by one index case in one shift. The max in the room at time was 4. Warning, don't take off masks just because people aren't present. The virus can linger in the air in small spaces for hours. That's like if someone farts in the room and walks out. Then you walk into the room. If you smell that fart, you see what I'm saying? See where I'm going with this? It also says, how is the aerosol different from large droplets? Aerosol study indicates the coronavirus is persistent and stable for many hours. Typical air exchanges every 20 minutes for 4 hours, depending on the ventilation. And this, I think I've shown you guys this before. I don't know if this came out last year. I'll just bring it up right quick so you can see it. This is supposedly how it spreads.
Large droplets are shown in blue and green. Most of these fall to the ground within 1 minute. But the micro droplets, shown in red, continue to drift.
God damn.
This simulation uses only micro droplets.
That motherfucker just coughed. Okay, I'm laughing at that, but am I the only one when you hear somebody do an open hand, like a closed hand cough? Don't you turn around and give them what the fuck is wrong with you? Not only coughing, but not wearing a mask when you cough. Am I the only motherfucker that does it? If you hear that shit, what the fuck? And once again, my body is trying to get me in a fight. I had a nose hair in the back of my throat again. And I try to make sure I make that sound so that because everybody knows, okay, he must have a kernel or something. Ain't the COVID cough. That motherfucker
5 minutes later.
Damn.
10 minutes later.
God damn, that's Typhoid Harry right there. Jeez Louise. All right. And then he says, ventilation is key. Both ventilation and masks needed to reduce risk indoors. But most buildings are not ventilated well enough. And then I showed you this actual one right here before. And then he says, until we recognize that COVID is airborne, we are setting ourselves up for repeated failure. He puts that in here. And he says, mask and aerosols demo. This is what they did. We saw this last year. I showed this actual graphic before. It says, now that aerosol transmission of coronavirus is established, we need to disperse aerosols quickly. Key is ventilation. Japan knew it was airborne from the start. Here's how to ventilate your school classroom if unavailable to open window. So this is kind of dope. This is from Japan, so I'm gonna tell you what. I'll take this one, and I'll put this one in the comment section there, so you guys can check it out. Boom and boom. There it is, right there. Pow. Boom. And then he just goes through all the. So these are things that we've seen before, but it's very important to still talk about. And there it is. Okay. Where we at? Did I get through all of them? Yes, I think I did. By Jove. By Jiggery. Okay. I want to show you this. So for the Ted Lasso fans, this is probably, since we're in October already, this is probably one of the dopest things you're going to see. We can say this is a mashup. Let me turn this off right here. Can you dig it? It's a mashup of genres. It's a mashup of the quirky fish out of water comedy and another type of genre. So genre. So enjoy.
And we're in the final minutes of adding time.
You guys ever want to be in charge? Be the boss? Get all the credit.
You know, if you weigh a person's body right after death, it's 21.3 grams lighter. And some say that's the weight of a soul.
I'd like to be reincarnated as a tiger and then ravage anyone who looked at me wrong.
Normally, I would have to fib about how well I knew the deceased.
I am not crazy.
Oh, you scared me.
But in this case, he came to church every weekend, sitting right over there, paying attention to every single word on his phone.
With all due respect, it's different for me, Miss Walton. I know what I want. Can you make me famous?
Ted Lasso, the thriller, killer, chiller. If you can dig it, it's been a great week for those of us who've been able to make it through. Today I had an opportunity to talk, like I said, to some old friends and acting friends and directors and writers and engineers and people that I hadn't spoken to in quite some time. You can see everybody's trying to do their thing. Keep your head up, otherwise you're going to run into things, run into shit. Do the best you can. This is not where the Night is in health page is going to be, but we are going to have something that's going to center on something we can do so we can watch each other, make progress. I got to go ride the bike right now, stationary, because I didn't ride it today. You know what I'm saying? And as always, strength be to your mind. Peace. Peace. Be to your bodies. Thank you guys for coming through. Good nightus. Bye-bye now.
guys go ahead and get your shot, and then I'm going to interview them. So. 1, 2. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, can you turn to green right quick? Wow, the elevator just shut down. Oh, there you go. Wow. Oh, he runs the mic. So go ahead and take it off and talk to me about it.
It gets real hot in there.
Why did you put a fan in there?
Didn't think about it. I was actually looking for it earlier.
Oh, so you're exchanging with other people. You went up there.
Yeah, they gave me the heads up about the fan.
Oh, okay. So how long did you put it together?
A lot of sleepless nights over the course of like from June to early July.
Really?
Yeah.
What gave you the inspiration to take your version? What character is it?
It's Conti from FLCL.
Okay.
Yeah, Fully Cooley.
So did you want to do a direct, complete version, or did you want to do one different?
Direct version, as close as I could as possible.
Wow. And what the most? Hold on. Let the wild group get by. What did you mostly use? Just foam or?
This is all foam, mostly EVA foam, the big floor yoga mats. And then the head, I had to make it lighter. This is actually my second version. This is all 2mm foam, so it's super light.
So what do you have in front? Let me see the front. Let me see the screen.
It is just kind of like Duralar plastic, and then behind it I cut out a frame, and then sandwiched in between that a really thin shirt and stretched it across.
What size LEDs do you have here that get hot on the side of your head?
Well, not really LEDs. They're puck lights.
Oh, that's why.
So yeah.
Yeah, you need LEDs in there so you won't burn off your sideburns.
Yeah, they're running out like 2 little batteries, but I got 2 in there and I got 1 in the back in here too.
Oh wow, that's great.
So at night, this all kind of shows up better.
Oh, yeah, because I can see it because you have there's grilling in there.
Yeah.
Right in there.
So all the details show up at night mostly.
So you can see that shot right there.
Yeah, I can even unscrew this.
Oh man, the screw comes off, right? Back.
And it's just a bottle. It's just a bottle, honestly. That's all it is.
That's a bottle, so you put a bottle in, that's a 7-Up bottle or something like that?
Yep.
Wow, that's dope. Screw it back on. We're going to get one more shot with you. I want to get some more B-roll with this. This is really great. Okay, I don't want you to pass out. Screw it behind me. All right,
you have a preference of color?
Huh?
Red, blue, white, or green?
Give me blue, man. Go ahead and do the blue. There you go. Boom. This is really great. Before you go on, what's your name?
Freddie.
Freddie. What's your Instagram?
Fredword, F-R-E-D-D, and then word, W-O-R-D-D.
Okay, cool. Fredword.
Yes, sir.
Try to from the bottom again.
All right, suit up.
Yes, sir. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. That's great. Put one arm out at the lens. I'm going to come from your face and I'm going to come out of it, okay? One more. Just a little press, a little group behind you. One more. Excellent. Thank you very much, man. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Don't burn up. I'm going to send this to you, okay? So
all right.
Don't burn up.